This is a first for me. I just want you to understand, truthfully. Can everybody hear me? I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to say. And by the way, when you deal with Rabbi Ron Yaish as a yeka, totally 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And before I know what he says, listen, you know what I told you about speaking 4 minutes? You stretched it to 6 minutes. Rav YY is not here. Take as long as you want. But I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to speak a little differently, but I first would like to say thank you to the Mandels and the Liebermans, who've become friends of myself and friends of Just One Life. Thank you to the entire committee, really, Ashreichem. In the midst of Teaneck, the chairman, founder, and dreamer, Jack Forgash, actually Jack and Carol. I think you figured out already, Rabbi Ron Yaish has done amazing preparation for this evening and deserves a real shout, really. Stewie Forgash was there every second just to help. And he couldn't make it tonight, but I have to tell you, Moshe Kindelera is a very special Jew, a Jew who truly cares about every cause in Yiddishkeit, and I actually know him a very long time, so you could give him an applause so I could say, I'm speaking a little differently, and I'm taking off my watch, even though I may finish and Rabbi Jacobson's not here. I got back from Israel, so I'm a little charged up. Often I'm asked, so what do you do? Who are you? How do you do it? And who does it for you? You see, I'm only the shaliach with Jack and Steve, where we try to raise the funds and ship it to Israel for the needs. So who are we? We empower women. We empower pregnant women in crisis. We help them make decisions. We counsel these women. We're able to give them funding and beyond funding, as you will see. So how do we do it? We're a menu. We're not just one item. We're an address for every aspect of pregnancy. I need you to understand this. If there's depression in a home, we sometimes receive these cases. If there's a possibility that a family has an expectant mother who may miscarry, and thus there's a problem also they may have of funds, we could get the case. If there's an abusiveness situation, we could get a case. If somebody's ambivalent, what do? I can't cope, we could get the case. And how do we receive the case? Not because somebody knocks on the door in King George and says, I am here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's run professionally. There's a executive vice president, director Chaya Katzin. There are 2 social workers part of a team. There are volunteers. And they make an assessment of each client, what is needed, what kind of therapy is needed. I was asked the question, how many hours of therapy does Just One Life, Nefesh Echad B'Yisrael, give out in Israel on a weekly basis? It could be 15, it could be 20, it could be 25, it could be 30. Multiply that by a year, and you could already see the numbers. Yes, we have cases where a mother's expecting mother, the husband is abusive, she's out of the house, the baby may have a heart problem. Chaya Katzin makes a determination based on the referral, and the referral could come from Yerushalayim, it could come from Netanya, it could come from Beersheba, it could come from Gilo, it could come from Geula, yes, Geula. It could come from anywhere. Any issue in pregnancy that's in crisis, which causes tensions, we have somehow been able to perfect a certain formula. We could have a situation where I said, somebody's going to miscarry, God forbid. They have to be off their feet. And a determination is made what therapy is given. Now, let me just tell you about the staff. One is an expert in what's called cognitive behavioral therapy. I don't know what that means, truthfully. One is an expert in what's called psychotherapy, and the other is an expert in drama therapy. Drama therapy. Based on this, we're also advocates. We could figure out which office in Yerushalayim or other cities can help with other therapists, other people to come in and help, people to babysit. It's not just a money game. It's also something involved in how to create stability. One of my favorite cases I talk about, it's a different kind of a case. This family was stable. There were no problems, no abusiveness, nothing, no problem. She didn't know where to go. They needed more money. He turned to Madeline Gittleman, who's the founding executive vice president, now chair lady of the board. And he and his wife said, I have 3 jobs. I'll take another one. We took out $300. Could you imagine? We invested $300. This man was taught another job, to pick up the garbage in 5 parks in Yerushalayim, but he had dignity. We try to deal with the family, a wholesomeness in the family. I want that understood. Our motto is love. Our motto is ultimately, can these people, these clients, fend for themselves? We're able to give out $1,800, $2,000, $1,500, some follow-up. We send them to other agencies. I was asked a question, so how many diapers do you think you give out a year? I don't know, $1 million, $500,000, $250,000? I don't know. I was asked, what about the bottles of milk? I have no idea. I can't really tell you. Thousands and thousands and thousands of ounces. I was asked a question, I'm going to say it bluntly. Do you help the single mother? With the psak of Rav David Feinstein, who was our posek, with the psak of Rav Palm beforehand, with my private conversations with Rav Herschel Schechter, Rav Mordechai Willig, and Rav Meir Goldwicht, we help the single mother with pride, because that's Hatzalah. We saved 18,000 babies. There are triplets all around. There are pictures from my last trip. There are triplets. 3 sets of triplets in a few months. Quadruplets, how old do you think our quadruplets are? 20 years old. The doctors told this mother, a Haredi mother, please fetal reduce. Somehow we got involved. Somehow Kadosh Baruch Hu decided that Jack asked questions. And the next thing we knew, an unbelievable doctor who's part of our founding board, Shimon Glick, gets involved. Madeline Gittleman gets involved. They look at the data. They call Jack and say, we don't see it. We spoke to the mother. Those 4 boys, those quads, ladies and gentlemen, they're 20 years old. And this rabbi got on a plane for their bar mitzvah and flew to Israel. We have partnerships with Sharei Tzedek, who give us cases. Partnerships with Hadassah. Donnie Danone gave Jack a special letter endorsing us. This is our mission. This is who we are. We empower. We advocate. We love. We fend and help families. Kadosh Baruch Hu should keep continuing giving us the koach, that we could just keep doing what we do. And Ashreichem. I'd like to recognize some of my friends and colleagues from actually my days in Yeshiva University. I saw Rav Adler when we were by the Rav together, Rav Ganak, of course. Okay, and I'm going to say Rabbi Karasik, because we were by Rav Soloveitchik together also. He's not a Rav of a shul, but he was a Rav of a shul. Please get involved. You'll walk around, you'll see the pictures floating of the babies. See myself, Jack. We need help to build kindergartens. Last note, how many kindergartens a year? 20 kindergartens. With a formula of love, no dogma, no yelling, no screaming, or as Jack has often said, we're pro-chance. I don't give long introductions when I introduce unbelievably special people. Now, you think I may know Harav Y.Y. Jacobson for a very long time. We met on the phone yesterday or 2 days ago. Usually he spends 15 minutes. I must have the personality. He was on the phone with me for about 45 minutes. What do I say to introduce him? There's a lot, but I'm going to tell you two quick stories. One, he spoke in Queens where I live, and there's one piece of what he said which is still resonating. In a 2 or 3 day span, he spoke to Satma, YU, Yeshivas Haredi, Chabad, and I probably left out. All. And everybody basically said, teach me more. 2, every day in the morning when we say our brachas, we talk about chasodim and Talmud Torah. It's very rare to have somebody who's an amazing Ben Torah, a breath of Torah, who's impacted in a certain way by the chasodim. Harav Y.Y. Jacobs in the Rabbosai receives anywhere between 50 to 200 to 300 emails a day. And believe me, they're not emails that says, Rabbi Jacobson, you're great, you're terrific. It's help me, I need help. It's unbelievable. And somehow, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. This gadol figures out how to do it. Rabbosai, Harav Y.Y. Jacobson.